All right, in this video, we're going to talk about how to categorize your information or organize your information in Zotero. There are three ways to do that. The first is by creating folders. The second is by creating tags, and the third is by relating information. So first, let's talk about folders and why you would want to create them. So for instance, whenever you import something into Zotero from a database, from EBSCO, from ProQuest, or from GoSearch, it drops it into the Uber folder of my library. And so that's just a lot of information to go through each time you want to maybe cite something, especially if you're doing the method of dragging and dropping information into a Word document. Then it's going to get a little bit laborious for you to have to scroll through all of this each time to find a particular item. So some of the ways that you can use Zotero to categorize information is by categorizing it by subject. So here I've categorized everything that I'm finding as I go through my research for individual papers that I find that deal with the collective noun, maybe in Hebrew or in linguistics altogether. That's what I want to write my dissertation on. So I bring it into this folder here so that I can see whenever I go to do my literature review all the items that I can find on the collective noun. Another way you can do it is simply by organizing your own writings or a particular author's writings. In this case, I do this because if I'm filling out a foreign online CV or something like that, it's very easy for me just to drag and drop this information into a website, especially when you only have one article. So, but that's just one way to use it, is to organize it by author or your own writings. Another way is to organize it by project. So here I have Old Testament theology papers. So these are all the items that I wanted to consult or had pipe dreams of consulting for my particular paper that I was working on in Old Testament theology. Another thing that, so the way to create a folder is to click on New Collection. And so I'm going to title this Test. It opens up that folder. Nothing is in there. If I want to add something, I can either go out to a database and pull it in while being clicked on that folder, or I can come into my library, say I want to add Abraham Reassessed, drop that in there, and there you see that appears there. Now, let's say I wanted to get rid of this from this folder. I highlight it, I click Delete. This pops up. I click OK. I go back to my library, and Abraham Reassessed Theologically is still in my library. It's just not in the test folder. So that's so again, you're just grouping information or like information, or for whatever reason you want to group information together. It's there in that folder. Now, if you want to group information across, or you want to find information that goes across the folders that you have, or just within your library, you can use a tag. And so I'm going to click on the Art of Biblical Poetry. And usually you're on the info pane on this right hand side here. It gives you all the bibliographic information. You click on tags and you'll see that it has two tags: Bible, language, style. That's actually imported in from the database, so that's created with when I import this item in. So I can actually click on any of, well, not these specifically, but if I wanted to look for any of these tags, all I do is put in Bible. I can actually search for those here, and it'll start to, you can already see it working to remove some of these things. Actually, that's what I need to put in. So anyways, so back to Art of Biblical Poetry. If I want to create one, all I have to do is click Add, Biblical Poetry, and that is created. And so again, what this allows me to do is to reach across folders and find that particular subject or tag. And I can do that by searching up here, or I can come down here to the bottom left-hand corner, and I can click on any of the tags. These are the tags. So there's, if I wanted to find my biblical poetry, I'd have to scroll down a little bit there. Well, maybe it hasn't added yet. Maybe I have to shut it down. But the Church of the East and its members, there. I can see the one item that I have on that subject. All right. So that's the way that you create tags. And so again, you would use those to reach across folders. All right. So now let's say I want to relate information to one item to another. So for instance, let's say in the Art of Biblical Poetry, I've already got the author relationship there, but let's say in the Art of Biblical Poetry, he discusses Adele Berlin. So I can click on Related, click Add, type in Berlin, the dynamics of biblical poetry, click OK, or biblical parallelism. So maybe he mentions her in that work. That's the way I would use it, to say, okay, so this is some other related items that I might want to consult, that maybe is mentioned specifically. That's how I use related. And then I can go to dynamics of biblical parallelism, and it's already added there. So once you've created a relationship, it's created in both those items. So that's a quick run through the 3 different ways to organize Zotero, or information in Zotero, through folders for grouping information, for tags to find information on a particular subject, and then also to relate, to show how, especially if you're wanting to do it like I do it, to show how that these two have a relationship and actually they talk about each other or they interact with each other. All right, that's it for this video.